going on? Welcome back to the channel, and we are back for part 2 of the V900 update. Boy Blunderbuss79 over here established an 8-bit, so let's go ahead and get right to it. First and foremost, the uniforms, $8.75 on sale, so they're half off. That's excellent. We're able to still take advantage of that.
Baby needs a new pair of shoes. Seven. Keep going, boy. We got him hot now. Let's go. Let's go. Double him up. Keep rolling. 7 winner.
For Star-Lord, he's getting a little bit of debuff removal. As usual with these uniforms, we're going to have to wait and see in game how these are all going to shake out. So they could look good on paper or look horrible on paper and perform the exact opposite. But he does get a little buff increase for blast types of energy attack to 60%, and they also gave him a 20% heal. It is small, but he hasn't had a heal before, so this will definitely help in terms of his survivability. They also bumped up his damage accumulation to 1.2% based on damage dealt, not damage taken, so that's excellent. For Rocket, he's got the 40% increased energy attack to the Guardians of the Galaxy type allies, and they did give all of them this Guardians of the Galaxy tag. We're gonna have to wait and see with those tagging things. This is how I feel about it. If they used them more, then cool. If it was some typing restrictions based on the tagging system, I think that would also be cool. It would be a good way for them to rework Shadowland in that way, but they don't use it enough, so it's really not. And what usually winds up happening is, because you'll have one character that's speed and one character that's blast or something like that, they usually get locked out from world boss restrictions anyway. Being able to use them together, you see it right now with Thanos and Squirrel Girl. So yeah, that's my feeling on that. Rocket also gets a 20% heal. I don't believe he had a heal before either, so that's also good. It looks like they're trying to build these characters for PvP. He does have a 0.8% damage accumulation, but there's nothing really standoutish. They got a little bit of ABX stuff, some burn, some stun, things of that nature, some damage immunity. For Mantis, I expect for this to be Zero to Hero rework for her. Please do not do her the way that y'all did Craven.
I am the American Dream, the plumber's son. I came from the ditch to be somebody. You got to be somebody. Make
absolutely atrocious. And to be honest, the rework is giving me a little bit of Craven vibes. The 30% damage to super villains. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see how this all kind of shakes out. Kind of similar to Colossus passive. She's got some stun and some silence, some fear. She's converted completely to mind damage now, so guess that will make her a candidate for a judgment or mind damage, diet rage proc type obelisk. And she also gets the 1% damage accumulation. Gets a dodge and critical rate buff and a remove all debuff for all allies. This could actually make her really strong and a really decent support for the new PvP mode, seeing as how it is 5 characters that you can put out there, and a 30% heal is going to be a whopping heal. The thing is, she doesn't have any iframe ignore built into her kit. Hopefully that's something that they can come back and do. Then for Star-Lord's tier 4 skill, he gets to increase all attack by 120% for 10 seconds, 50% max HP increase, and then a 10% heal over 5-second duration. Kind of giving me some Moon Knight vibes mixed in with a sprinkle of Gilgamesh artifact sort of thing. Then you got Rocket's tier 3 skill. Get some burn, some ignore target's dodge rate by 80%, and 80% chance to penetrate everything. 7 seconds of invincibility on this thing as well. Skill looks pretty cool. We're gonna have to wait and see for the damage. And then of course we're getting this again, Nebula, Potential Awakening, and Transcendence with no uniform, and also one for Manus as well. Pretty run-of-the-mill stuff, so we're not even gonna really too much worry about it. We will take a look at the skill. Same skill that we saw in the skill preview and in the live stream and all of that jazz. Just to touch on the uniform thing, what the big deal is the fact that you have 7 Guardians of the Galaxy that are going to be heavily associated with the MCU update, and we're only getting 3 outfits.
Wolverine! No, but we have to approach this delicately.
Delicately?
You had Groot involved in the key art, and we get no uniform for him. We get an awakened skill for Nebula, and no uniform for her. We still don't know about Drax and Gamora. Adam Warlock is also heavily associated with this movie, so we're not sure if he's getting a uniform or not. That's 5 characters: Groot, Nebula, Drax, Gamora, Adam Warlock. We haven't even talked about Kang not being in the game yet. We haven't even talked about Cosmo or Kraglin. So my question is, who's gonna be the odd man out or odd woman out? And that's several characters right there. That's at least 8 characters: Cosmo, Kraglin, Kang, Adam Warlock, Gamora, Drax, Nebula, Groot, and they only give 4 characters with the initial update that's supposed to be big thing, the next big cheese. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I really don't. So that's where I am with the uniforms. It kind of gives me the Symbiote Part 1 and 2 vibes that were months apart. It kind of gives me the Sinister 6 update that was months apart kind of vibes. I don't know. Yeah, the GBR thing is nice. Getting a new game mode and all of that stuff, even though we can't play it, I gotta wait and see on that. Yeah, anywho, moving right along. Let's go ahead and talk about the new game mode and X of Swords and wrap this whole thing up. So I showed you guys in the last video how you can earn these tokens and use them in this battlefield shop. Buy the Soul of the Faltine, Carbonadium, Life Seed, as well as other materials that are associated with this game mode. The problem is you also still have to buy these buffs. You don't know how much that's gonna account for in terms of being able to farm these tokens. So yeah, there's basically gonna be an autoplay game mode where you plug your characters in. It's also gonna follow a bronze, silver, gold, all the way up to challenges, similar to how we have with the timeline. When they announced this thing, they announced it kind of as taking the best of AC and taking the best of timeline.
6. I thought 7 and 11 had value.
Actually, 6 is a valid point. Of course, now the objective is to roll a duplicate 6 before hitting 7.
But the probability of making a 6 is no greater than that of rolling a 7.
There is a certain degree of random fortune involved. I believe that is why they call it gambling.
From what I can see, they've taken not the best for what the players want, but the best for what'll make them the most money.
7 away. Next shooter.
Commander, these cubes are improperly balanced.
Can you repair them?
I don't know if that's necessarily the way that they want to go with this thing. Trying to make this thing heavily monetized and all that thing. Speaking of monetization, so speaking of pay for, they do have the battle pass for this thing. It's 20 bucks, and I'm not sure how long the duration is for this thing, but they said that the season is supposed to be an 8-week time frame. So yeah, right here, each Otherworld battle season will be progressed over the next 8 weeks of the following schedule. So in terms of this battle pass being $20, I'm wondering if this thing covers the whole 8 weeks, or is it going to be something like the Shield Special Support that only covers 2 weeks and then you have to buy it again, or is it going to cover a month and then you got to buy it again? So it's a lot of questions in relation to this battle pass thing. I don't think they should have even implemented this, to be honest with you. It's just one more way for them to monetize a heavily monetized game already, where people spend lots of money in this thing. So monetization isn't the problem. The problem, I think, is more player retention than anything else. So you got the premium rewards. They give you 500 crystals with this thing for $20. That's really not that competitive. And then you get the 2300 warrior mementos. I'm assuming this is in addition to the 3360 that you already get. You get some swords of the unknown. You get some of these elemental enchantment runes and all of this stuff. So already a pay to win. Now let's talk about the X of Swords system. This thing is basically going to be comic cards light or on steroids, depending on how you want to look at it. This can both be a good and a bad thing, because it will give players that play this game mode an opportunity to earn these things for free and power up their rosters in such a way where they can complete content where they might not have otherwise been able to do it, because it is really difficult to roll your comic cards with high enough cures in order to do high levels of World Boss Legend, in order to do Giant Boss Raid Dormammu, in order to get your Soul of the Falcon and things of that nature. From that perspective, I think this is a good thing, but that's the only perspective that I think this is a good thing, because it's just going to turn into another comic card thing where it's just this whole RNG based system. There are some really good effects in here, don't get me wrong. You got the destruction increase effect, you got the increase flame, increased basic damage dealt to flame type enemies, decrease basic damage received from magic ability type enemies. So there are some interesting effects in here that take advantage of existing tags that we already have in the game, and I like that. But this would be better if this was a purely farmable mode, meaning no pay for the materials in order to accelerate your ability to be able to farm this stuff. That only widens the gap from free-to-play players to spending players. Hopefully they realize this, but you know, once they've opened that Pandora's box of monetization, there's no closing it. We also get the whole you know, all these different swords are gonna give you different effects. For the most part, it looks as if you're gonna have some all attack coming from the Muramasa blade. I think heal is gonna come from the green sword, and then the blue one I think is gonna give you, it's not the psionic, it's the dexterity, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we this basically boils down to increase instinct attack for the dexterity, increase additional pierce damage decrease, which all that pierce that you've been saving up for, building them cards for. Now I will say this, as far as this goes, this speaks to them putting a boss in the game in the future that's going to have pierce, and you're gonna need to decrease that pierce in order to be able to pass the level or make the level more easily passable. It really speaks to something like that for me, not so much PvP as much a PvE centric sort of thing. They could be trying to work something like that in here. You also have an increased energy attack, increased physical attack, and then you got the damage decrease from intelligence and stamina. So I thought one of these things offered an HP buff, if I wasn't mistaken, but maybe that's on the actual, once you get all of it crafted or whatever, because it looks like it offers an additional stat in addition to the stats that each of the rooms offer. Yeah, y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think of this new system, the new game modes, the uniforms, the lack of uniforms that we have in terms of Groot, Nebula, Drax, Gamora, Adam Warlock, and Cosmo and Kraglin are still kind of up in the air. But then also the elephant in the room, Kang. We're still waiting on him. This may actually put that out another month or two. But I was kind of figuring that, to be honest, just because of the whole way that the Guardians of the Galaxy update dropped. And we don't look to have anything to do after this update. So it only makes sense that they would hold on to Kang at this point if they've been holding on to him for this long. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Push that notification bell and that like button and sub, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.